Welcome to Prestige Worldwide, the podcast, a weekly battle of wits, debating everything from horseshoes to hand grenades, all for the privilege to be called right. And now, your hosts, Bobo and Travis.
Hey guys, welcome to Prestige Worldwide, the podcast. I'm Travis. With me always is Bobo.
Heyo!
How's it going, buddy?
Living the fucking dream.
That's good to hear. Well, we have a jam-packed show today, so I am not going to fuck around at all at the beginning.
Yeah, let's not fuck around. We got a lot of shit to do.
And we're just going to get into it. So we got some voicemails to play because some of our lovely listeners have decided to leave them. So let's just get right into it and listen to the first one.
Okay.
Hey guys, it's MC. I got two things. One, I know I'm a little behind on this, but I finally listened to that Fat Mike Cokie the Clown album on Spotify, and holy shit, that's depressing. I even saw that video that he did a few years back at South by Southwest or whatever, where he pissed in the tequila and then told the story and sang all these songs, and I knew what was coming, and it's still just so fucking hard to listen to. I will say though, if you get to the last song, like the punk rock Saved My Life song, there's a little bit of a redemption arc there. But god damn it, I completely understand why people just turn it off and they're like, holy shit, I can't do this. The second thing, what would I do if I was in a car accident and a fucking clown got out of the car that I hit? I would run it over. I would run over the clown, and I would use as my excuse, well, I remember 2 years ago when clowns were coming up in the woods with knives and scaring people, and I'd get away with murder. That's it. Have a great day.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
And listen, for all you would-be callers out there, if you have something that's a little old, because I understand people's lives get busy, and there's no problem bringing that up. But I have yet to listen to that album, and maybe we'll do that. Maybe I'll try to do that sometime this week.
I love it. I've listened to it a bunch. I think it's awesome. It is fucking dark, though. Like I said, remember I was telling a story about how Uncle Hare said it was going to be funny, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's fucking dark.
Yeah. So... And I MC, I don't think you're wrong for your first instinct to be run over the goddamn clown.
It's just like taking a test. Your first instinct is usually the correct one.
All right. So, sorry, did you have anything else, Bobo?
No, that's it.
Okay. Let's move on to the second voicemail.
Hey guys, it's Haley, first time caller. Woohoo! Calling to give you guys to teach you guys some things about tooth whitening, since you forgot to talk to me about it. I'm a dental hygienist. Anyway, so teeth whitening itself does not hurt the enamel. It doesn't hurt the teeth. So Travis was right. So basically, in your teeth, you have layers. You have enamel and you have dentin. Dentin tubules are where you get your sensitivity, and so that can affect, whitening can affect that. But as far as the enamel, it's the hardest substance in the human body, and it really takes a lot to damage that. So what you're thinking of, Travis, probably are these whitening toothpaste that are out. If they don't use a bleach product, they use abrasives, like Bobo was talking about. So if those abrasive particles are irregulated, if they're larger, they're different sizes, and you brush too hard, you then can damage your enamel. But when it comes to, whitening, bleaching, you're pretty safe on that. You may get that sensitivity, but, just slap some Sensodyne on it and call it a day. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right. So, I don't know.
That was the most cheerful voicemail I've ever gotten. I'm not sure how I feel about being that upbeat about a voicemail.
Listen, and we thank you, Haley. Thanks for calling in. Well, that's technically maybe the first time you've left a message, but I think she was trying, although the ill-fated live calling episode, her and Jake were trying to call in. But anyways,
we'll have some redemption on that live episode at some point in the future.
If we ever do get it talking into dental stuff again, I'm going to guarantee it's going to be on the fly, just like it was last time. So feel free to call in and correct us.
Well, I don't think she corrected so much as that she actually clarified both of our points.
Yeah.
Which is perfect, because now we both feel like we were right. That literally felt like a win-win voicemail.
She's so diplomatic. It's great.
It was wonderful. We both are happy. We're going away thinking we're both winners. Best voicemail we've ever gotten. Thank you.
When in fact, we're probably just both losers. So,
I mean, yeah, have you seen my life?
right. So, in keeping with moving along pretty quickly, let's get into the fantasy movie league, shall we?
Let's not.
Hey, fuck you all, Travis. I'm not gonna say he's back, but I won this week, which is good for me.
You stupid cuck.
I like how Andrice was so close to tying me. It really came down to that best performer. And and we know that Andrice knows us since he used your name in his title now.
Yeah, if you want to know what it is, you got to join the Fantasy Movie League. So, which you can do by going to fantasymovieleague.com. The league is Prestige Worldwide, the podcast, and the password is Travis Bobo, all one word, all lowercase.
Right. So I came in first. Andres came in second. Big Red came in third. Family Fun Time came in fourth. Derp came in fifth. Frank came in sixth. Bobo came in seventh. Andy came in eighth, and Tim came in ninth. So
at least I didn't do as bad as Tim. I put a little bit of faith in A Dog's Journey or whatever that movie is.
Yeah.
Whereas everyone else basically went John Wick and The Avengers.
Right.
That was the right play.
That was.
Or John Wick and Pikachu. John Wick and A Dog's Journey meant that you got fucked like a dog.
What was the perfect cinema this week? Do you know? Because I never get to see what it actually is. For some reason,
it was John Wick, The Avengers, and then a bunch of Shazams.
Probably all
something else.
All Shazams, or
I think it was all Shazams after that.
Okay, because of the
which who the fuck would have known that?
Apparently I did, since I put in 4 Shazams into my lineup. But
good for you.
If you're keeping track, that keeps Big Red pretty solidly in the number 1 spot.
Travis, you were very close. You were one movie away from the perfect Cineplex. If you'd taken out Captain Marvel and put in a Shazam, you would have perfect Cineplex.
Oh. Damn.
You were very close.
Damn. Oh, well, whatever. Anyways, like I said, Big Red is securely in first with 1 week left to go. And Derp to Derp is in second. Family Fun Time is in third. Andres is in fourth. Bobo's in a distant fifth. Frank is in sixth. Andy, your name really fucks me up, by the way. I'm just telling you that right now. Andy's in seventh.
F Bobo?
Yeah. Andy's in seventh. Tim is in eighth. And I am securely in last place at ninth.
You're wrong. There are 2 weeks to go, including this weekend coming up. So I still have the most outside chance in the world. Fuck.
That is true. We have 2 weeks. Sorry. Excuse me. But no, there's no way you're going to do it. I mean, there is a possibility you could. You are only $48 million. Oh no, $52 million down. So it's
very possible.
You'd have to win both weeks by a lot.
Yes, gonna do it. Here we go. Don't call the comeback.
That means you have to hedge your bets on Aladdin this week, or whatever movie you decide to anchor your lineup with. But we'll talk about that, because that leads me to our topic this week.
We talk about right now, right? That's a great transition.
That's what I was trying to do.
Dude, that was wonderful. That was masterful.
I try to take this shit seriously. But anyways, we are going to move into our topic and this is a yearly thing that we do. This is Summer Blockbuster 3. And Bubba,
is this year 3 of doing Summer Blockbusters?
This is year 3 because I checked it out. Do you want to describe kind of what we do?
So, Summer Blockbuster, because Travis and I, as you can tell, this podcast does center a little bit around movies. We play in the Fantasy Movie League. We talk about movies a decent amount. We watch all the Oscars and all the Razzie nominees and stuff. And This is the other part of what we do, where we talk about, before Memorial Day, basically Memorial Day starts the summer movie season from this until Labor Day.
Right.
And this is where the term Summer Blockbuster comes from, where you find movies that get released during the summertime, those Independence Day films, those big, huge blockbuster movies. And we'll pick probably, I think we have a dozen this year.
Yeah.
Where we will sit down and we'll discuss these movies coming out over the summer holiday, and we'll try to predict how they're going to do versus what they're predicted to do at the box office.
Right. Correct.
Is that it? That encompass it in a nutshell?
That does. And because we have so many movies, that's why we're moving kind of quick this week. And but let's move right in, because we're going to do this by order in the way that they're coming out this summer. So
right.
I think right off the bat, we're going to talk about Aladdin.
Okay. So this is now the second movie that is basically a remake of a Disney movie that's been turned into live action, because I think Beauty and the Beast was the first, right?
This is the third. So
third.
Yes, because you have Cinderella, you have Beauty and the Beast, and Jungle Book.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Jungle Book. You're right.
Yeah. So so this is the third one, and my prediction, we're not even talking about the experts' prediction right now, but my prediction is this is going to do the worst of all four of those movies.
I was going to say the same. I don't think any of them, other than the Jungle Book, has actually done that well. Has it?
I can tell you that. They've all done moderately well, and when we talk about this, just so our listeners that haven't listened to the other episodes are aware, we only talk about domestic grosses. We don't talk about worldwide.
Not worldwide, correct?
Right, because we're all about America here. But so the Jungle Book did $334 million. Beauty and the Beast was the best at $504 million, and Cinderella was $201 million. So
$504 million. People went to go see Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, Beauty and the Beast was beloved, and we're going to talk about another remake coming up.
Did you see it?
No, I've not seen the only one that I've seen has been the Jungle Book, and Jungle Book was good. Have you seen any of them?
I've seen the Jungle Book. That's it.
Okay, so you and I are kind of on the same wavelength. But and
it was good. I like the Jungle Book. Now, but they've made other Jungle Book things besides, like, you know what I mean? That's kind of more of a broader topic than just a Disney movie, I feel like.
Sure, I do too. But for me, just on the trailers and from what I've seen, I think Aladdin looks fucking terrible.
Yes, I was going to say it does look awful.
Yes. And I don't think so. The expert opinion on this one is $165 million is what it's going to do.
That's a pretty low bar to hit.
That is a pretty low bar to hit, but oh man.
See, now that's the thing is I feel like we're talking this movie down. Cinderella is the one that made the least though, and that was $200 million.
Right.
And they're already predicting to make less than that. So I don't feel like they're overshooting the movie now.
Yeah,
I mean, $165 million is not that much. I mean, this movie had to cost so much that much to make, right?
It actually only cost $28 million to make from what I saw. These ones before the movies are released, it's really sketchy to get the budgets for these movies. But I mean, from the trailer, it looks like it cost that much to make. But
we'll know the budget eventually.
Right.
So
I don't know. I want to say I wanted to say under, but I may have to go over.
I'll tell you what, if you're going to go over, I'll take the under. I think 165 is a very fair number.
So what? You're going 164? Do we want to put in predictions like that?
Yep, right it in. I'm going to give it 160.
160. All right. I'm going to go The Price is Right. I'm going to go 166.
Okay.
Cuz
perfect.
I don't think it has the ceiling to do much more than 165. But that's what I'm going with. So,
yep. So I mean, we'll see. I don't know. It looks terrible.
It really does.
Again, yeah.
But however, we've been wrong in the past. So
yes.
All right. Let's move on to another movie, in my opinion, that looks terrible, and that is Godzilla: King of Monsters. Or King of
Oh
the
my
Monsters.
God, this fucking shit show.
Did you see the last one that they made?
No, of course not.
Oh, okay. I did. I went to the theater to see it.
And you went to the theaters to see it?
Oh, well, oh yes. Listen, if you're going to go see a monster,
that was the one just called Godzilla, right?
Right, yes. And it was not very good at all. And so I'll tell you, so the prediction on this one, is $220 million. Now,
okay.
Let me give you a little. Let me try to give you a little perspective.
Well, I know the Godzilla from the last one that came out made what, 200 million domestically?
Yep, 200 million. And the only other movie that I can really put in this category that I can think of that had like some name recognition was the Kong Skull Island. I don't know if you remember that one with I think Samuel L. Jackson was in it, and so was
John Goodman. Yes, I remember that one.
That one clocked in at 168.
So 220 is a pretty ambitious number.
In my mind, it is. I'm going with the under on this one.
I am too. I think it looks terrible. And I also think it's going to suffer from fatigue. There have been a lot of big movies to come out already this year that people went to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's going to suffer some fatigue. Like these action films, I think in the next couple months are going to suffer some fatigue because of just, the Avengers hangover and, all those other, the Captain Marvel hangover, all that stuff.
Right. Now, it does have a pretty good wide berth where there's nothing really coming out around it.
Yes.
But
I think it'll do very well overseas, by the way.
Oh, I do too. Yes. But here, I'm going to go with it's going to do, I'm going to say 185. That's my prediction.
I'm going to say 200.
You're going with 200. Okay. So you're thinking it does just as well as the last one.
Yep. I think that's about right. I think that's about the ceiling for a Godzilla movie. I mean, who really gives a shit about Godzilla?
Listen, Jeremy, one of our guests on the podcast, I know he's pretty big into it.
Right.
But I don't know. You make a good point. Maybe not a whole
He also thinks Pacific Rim is the best movie ever made, so let's pump the brakes.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I've never seen Pacific Rim, and I'd actually kind of like to because I've heard good things about it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, and I heard the second one is absolute dog shit, but yeah, maybe sometime, we'll have to do a Pacific Rim screening, but.
Ooh, maybe outdoor movie night?
That would be nice. That would be nice.
There you go. And then we can roll right into the sequel. We're nice and sloppy.
All right. So the next one on our list here is Rocket Man. And people may not know what this movie is, but I wanted to include on our list some original movies. Let's just put it that way. Every other fucking movie on our list, except for the movies that you probably have never heard of, are remakes or reboots or reimagines or something.
Yeah, let's talk about that because that's fucking bullshit, by the way. Can they not think of new fucking ideas?
Listen, we've had this discussion, I think, on the podcast a couple times.
And it's getting worse, I feel like.
Well, because the stakes are so high at this point. Like, I understand why they do it. It's because when you put out a movie like Godzilla King of Monsters or Aladdin, you and I all automatically already know about it. Like, we don't need to really be told about it. Now, the problem is when you put out a garbage trailer, now it lowers people's want to go to see it. But when you have a movie called Rocket Man, I mean, I'm wondering how many of our listeners know about what this movie's about before I actually tell them.
Put that as the poll this week.
That's the poll.
Did you know what Rocket Man was about before we tell you right now?
Okay. So,
because I want to know.
I'm curious too. So, Rocket Man is the story of Elton John, and I think it looks pretty good.
Now, can I tell you something about this movie, which is this bothered me?
Absolutely.
And I don't know why they did this.
Okay.
But it's rated R.
Ooh, you know what? I didn't anticipate that.
Right. So, and I didn't know if you're aware of that or not. It does look good.
Ooh.
It's rated R.
You know why? Because they probably don't care about kids going to see it.
It doesn't matter though. It's rated R. Why would a movie about Elton John be rated R?
Well, I'm pretty sure he had a pretty big drug habit.
Wrong. It's rated R because it's the first major Hollywood production, Travis, to show gay male sex on screen.
Oh. Okay. Well, there you go. I mean, that's what
my point is, okay, I'm sure, yes, being gay is a big part of Elton John's life. That's a big part about probably this movie, obviously, since they're going to go to that length to show it. It's a big part of him as an individual.
Right.
But do you have to be so graphic about it? And I mean, I think being rated R kills your market. I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody, which is being compared to, was rated what, PG?
That's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head. I know how much it made. Or yeah.
Yeah, a shitload.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's see. I'm looking it up right now. I'm trying to figure out where I don't even know how you find out. I don't care so much about what it was PG-13.
Okay, so it wasn't rated R, which is a big. I mean, it makes a big difference, I think.
So Bohemian Rhapsody made 216 million.
Is that it?
Yes, that's how much.
Wow,
domestically.
Really? I thought maybe more than that even domestically. That's what I'm saying. Wow.
No, it didn't. Yeah. I mean, it did okay, but I shouldn't say it did really well, but it wasn't like a blockbuster.
Should have been.
I agree. It was a great movie. Now, the only other one that I could kind of think about that this might pertain to was Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash movie. And
what about Straight Outta Compton?
I didn't put Straight Outta Compton because I didn't think I was trying to keep it in the same kind of genre.
Okay, yeah, the genre for that. I'm just saying it's an R-rated biopic.
Right. And
but other than that, you're right. The topics are totally different. They probably hit target markets differently. So you're probably right about that.
Right. So I really didn't think that would give us a whole lot, but Walk the Line. And that one, I forget what year that came out, but it was a while ago. That made 119 million. Yeah, 2005 made 119 million.
Okay.
So, and I don't know if I guess I didn't really talk about what the prediction was yet. But the prediction for this is 70 million.
Oh, that's it?
That's it. So that's I mean, I don't know. And I did look it up. Straight Outta Compton did gross 161 million.
I think this will do over.
Boy, I think
I didn't realize the prediction was that low.
Yeah, that's.
I think if they made it PG-13, it would double. I don't know why Hollywood thought it was a good idea. Because again, you might argue, oh, Elton John gay. Like I get it. Listen, Freddie Mercury was every bit as fucking gay as Elton.
Right.
Every fucking bit, if not more. That movie was PG-13 and they did it really well. So I don't want to hear that it has to be rated R because he's gay. Because that's bullshit.
Yeah. But, I mean, maybe this, my guess is this is like, that's where the dramatic tension comes from. His hiding him being gay. Where Freddie Mercury didn't really hide it.
True, but again, I don't think it's rated R because they had to hide it. Unless he's like in a closet naked for like half the movie. I don't know.
No, I feel like I feel like this is, like I said, this is where the drama comes from. Whereas you could focus more on the drugs and AIDS aspect to Freddie Mercury. But I'm just speculating because obviously I haven't seen it. I too am going to go with the over. Do you want to give your figure?
I'm going to say 100 million.
You're going 100.
Yep.
I don't. You really have me pausing on this rated R bullshit.
I know it makes a big difference.
I mean, although yes, it really does. I'm gonna go 75.
Okay.
I'm not as high on that one.
I think if it was PG-13, it would do almost 200 million. I really think that the market. I don't know why they shot themselves in the foot. I guess it's not about money. It's about the art. That's good. I'm glad to see that. But yeah. I think they're losing a lot of money over it. So.
I think with at this point, with a little over a week out before its release, and we're not seeing more about it. That 100 million I think is a little ambitious. I think even maybe the 75 might be a little ambitious for me, but that's what I'm going to go with. So
now, I mean, the budget for the movie, you can find the budget for this one was 41 million.
Yes.
So they're hoping it makes at least double that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that's we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. All right, let's move on to another remake or another sequel, X-Men: Dark Phoenix. And
people give a shit about the X-Men anymore?
I don't know. Well, it's funny you ask that. Okay? Because this is the fourth in the new X-Men series. So you had X-Men First Class, X-Men Days of Future Past, and Apocalypse. And X-Men First Class did 146 million. The Days of Future Past jumped up to 233 million. And then Apocalypse went back down to 155 million. The prediction on this one is 200 million.
Under.
I'm going under as well.
I didn't have to hear you say it to say. I mean, I'm not jumping on your bandwagon. It's pretty clear to me that this is not going to go like they think it is.
Yeah, like I mean, I'll tell you what. The funny part about it is Days of Future Past made the most out of the 4 so far, or out of the past 3, and I thought that movie was garbage.
I don't like any of them. I've seen them. I was a big X-Men fan as a comic book when I was a kid, which is why I get kind of annoyed about the other comic book movies doing better than X-Men.
Right.
Because I've always thought X-Men was the best comic book franchise out there.
Okay.
It has the biggest birth of superheroes, of plot lines, of universes. I think like there's an infinite universe from like to pull from for X-Men.
Right.
The fact that it does so poorly at the box office and they can't write a good movie or a good like series for it pisses me off to no end. I still go see them all, and I'm disappointed every time.
I'm surprised you didn't like First Class. I really liked First Class.
It's okay. I'm not saying I hated it.
Yeah.
Is it the Avengers?
Is it the Avengers?
In terms of like national popularity wise.
No, it's not. But does it? I think it comes close to the Avengers, if not better than the Avengers. Just that one. Just X-Men First Class.
Right, because it goes downhill after those ones.
It does
very quickly.
I didn't even see Apocalypse. I have no.
You're missing nothing.
Yes, yeah. I'm not surprised. So I'm gonna go with it makes. I'm gonna go with it makes 160 million. That's gonna be my prediction.
I was gonna say 175.
175. Okay, I think it gets a bump because the main girl in it, she's from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
So I think it gets.
But everyone's pissed at that right now. So.
But I don't think they're pissed at the actors.
You're probably right about that.
Yeah, like I don't see that really happening. Although she's been getting pretty pissy in media right now, or in interviews about how like disrespectful it is and everybody's unhappy with it. But I
whatever.
It's funny because we would talk more about Game of Thrones if Bobo watched it. However, he doesn't. So because
and apparently I made the right move because everyone invested 8 years in this franchise, and the last season all they get is upset about it. So you know what? I, in the long run, made the right decision.
I don't know about that. Like, I'll tell you from my perspective, and I was happy that the show was ending. Like, it's a good show. It just like it ran.
All shows should end,
right? Absolutely
on their own terms.
Yes, and it was like I said, it was yes. I would that. That's a great point. On their own terms would be great. But it was a decent show, and the ending, okay, whatever. There were some highlights. There were some low points. It was mediocre. So for the build up and the 2 years that it took to get on air, it was terrible to most people. But I think at best, or I think at worst, it was mediocre. But that's just my opinion. And feel free. 747 banging. Tell me how much I'm wrong.
It does make me want to go see it now after all the backlash.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's I can see how that one. I would say you would probably like it, so I would go ahead and give it a shot. But that's just me. All right, let's move on to another franchise I don't give a shit about. Men in Black International.
I didn't know this was a franchise because I didn't know they were making new Men in Black movies. So
Bobo and I talked about this right before we got on air. Yep, I didn't either. I
had no idea.
Nope, had no idea that this is happening. I've actually never seen a Men in Black movie.
What?
Nope, it never appealed to me. So I never really wanted to see it. But
interesting. I love the original.
And that's fine. And that's the only thing that they've got going for them. So they had the expert opinion is 130 million. The closest movies that I could come to, I thought, was the Ghostbusters remake, Ocean's 8, and 21 Jump Street.
Those are about, that's about right.
Okay. So Ghostbusters made 128 million. Ocean's 8 made 140 million. and 21 Jump Street made 138 million.
The last Men in Black movie made 179 million. That was in 2012, but that also had Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones in it.
Right. I'm still taking the over on this one.
What's the number again?
130. I'm taking the over. I think it's gonna do moderately better.
I'm taking the under.
You're taking the under. Okay. So I'm going with I'm gonna go with 142.
I'm gonna go 120.
And you're going 120. It also now I will say this, and maybe this is gonna change your prediction, Bobo. Chris Helmsworth is in it.
No, I know. And
okay.
Tessa Thompson's in it.
Yeah, but Chris Helmsworth is coming off a stellar performance in Endgame.
So is Tessa Thompson.
Who is she in? Oh, yeah.
Valkyrie.
Oh,
they're both from it. That's the weird part, is they're both from the same movie that just came out.
I didn't even realize she was in it, but okay. Yeah. So all right, well, what are you gonna do? But yeah.
I don't know.
So
laugh about it.
Yeah, but I think I don't know. That's why I think it may do just slightly better. But anyways,
or the problem is also this movie comes out at a very inopportune time because it comes out the week after X-Men.
I don't think X-Men in this. I don't think it affects either one of this movie. I don't think.
I mean, Godzilla comes out the week before. There's a lot of movies that I think are already going to suffer from Avengers fatigue, and then you throw in this shit pile of Men in Black, who I didn't even know was a franchise, but they're calling it a franchise now, that doesn't have Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones in the movie, and you expect us to go see it. I doubt it.
Maybe you could be right. Either that, or they just
that's my thought process. I'm trying to explain to listeners how I've decided this movie is dog shit.
Right.
That's my thought process. That's the road I got on.
Either that, or they take a moment to breathe through Godzilla and X-Men, and it is the time where they're like, okay, I'll go see another movie.
Well, going to the next movie, I like to say first, if you're going to take a breather, you're going to wait a week to go see Toy Story.
Okay, so we're moving on to Toy Story 4, which I have not seen Toy Story 3. I've seen 1 and 2, but the expert opinion on Toy Story 4 is $340 million.
It's a lot of money.
So let me put that into a little bit of perspective. So the comparable movies I have here are Toy Story 3 that did $412 million, Cars 3 that did $152 million, and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2 that did $119 million.
I'm not sure that's comparable to Toy Story. I mean, this is a much bigger franchise, but
I think that was
something.
I feel like, well, I did it because it was a sequel, but also I think Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs was a pretty big. I think that is we've aged.
The first
down.
one was big. The second one wasn't as popular as the first one, and same with Cars. Toy Story though has the star power with it because it was just when it came out initially, it's like one of the most beloved kids movies ever made in modern times.
Right.
I mean, what's the number again?
340 million. I still think I think I'm gonna go with. I want to go over. I want to go slightly.
I'm going over.
You're okay. I want to go over. I and it's just slightly over. But what do you say for the dollar amount?
400.
You're going 400. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 375.
Okay.
That's going to be money. All right.
I think this movie is going to be fucking huge. So.
Well, then you should go higher.
400 is a lot of money for a movie.
That's
a big deal in America.
Is it?
Yes.
Beauty and the Beast did 504.
Right. That's a colossal number for a movie, isn't it? I mean, when did that come out? Last year?
It came out a couple years ago, I think.
I wonder if that was the top grossing movie of that year.
No. I don't
really.
I don't believe so. Tell me when it.
Top 10. Man.
Wait, what year did it come out? Did you find out what year?
I think 2017.
Okay, 2017. Star Wars last.
Yes, 2017.
It came in number 2. Star Wars Last Jedi.
That's a huge number. Yeah.
Yeah. Star Wars Last Jedi came in number 1.
No surprise there.
Yeah. Okay. So it did. Okay, you're right. So it came. it came in second. All right, so yeah, that's then we'll go. We're gonna go with that. All right, let's move on to another original movie on our list. That's a movie called Yesterday. And
I'd like to argue that it's original.
Yes, that's what I said. Oh, you don't think it's original?
I want to argue that point.
Oh, okay.
So all I've seen so far are sequels: Toy Story 4, X-Men, whatever, the Phoenix thing, Men in Black, or
a biopic.
What do we call this? Biopics?
Biopic, yes.
Where we have whatchamacallit, fucking
Elton
Rocket
John.
Man.
Yep.
Or we have a remake, Aladdin, Godzilla. However, I would argue that Yesterday is also a biopic, just done in a better way.
No.
Because, let's explain. So the biopic it's a movie basically where a singer-songwriter, this Indian musician, suffers an accident.
Yes.
And hits his head basically and wakes up and thinks that the Beatles are real. Where in the world that he lives in, they never happened. The Beatles never existed. The band never existed. Then the songs never got written.
Right.
But in his head, he now knows them all.
Right.
So obviously he starts writing them and becomes the most famous singer-songwriter of all time because he writes hit after hit after hit and they're just Beatles songs.
Right. But nobody, like it's like he went into a different dimension because nobody knows about the Beatles. So
Except for him, apparently. Right.
But it's not really about the Beatles. Like
it's about the Beatles songs. It's the only part of the Beatles I give a shit about anyways, because they all suck. So
yeah, but like calling this a biopic, I think is
no. I was joking. I was
right,
obviously being a little facetious, but still, it's just about something else that still happened. These songs still happened in the past,
right? Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I think this movie looks great. Like I'll be honest with you, I thought when it first came out, and I don't know if I'm right about this, but when I first saw this preview, I could have sworn this was a Netflix movie. And
really,
that's what I thought. And then I was like, oh shit, it's getting a theatrical release. So
my problem with it is, like, the whole plot of the movie is a guy, basically he all of a sudden he can invent these Beatles songs in his head because he lives in an alternate reality where the Beatles existed and they didn't.
Right.
And he becomes super famous and popular. Yes. That's what happened to the Beatles when they actually wrote the songs. It's the same thing. Of course they'll be popular. You're writing the best songs ever written up to that point in time. But what did you think was going to happen? I'm not surprised by that, so I'm not that interested in it.
Well, but I think there's going to be, I think the drama in this movie is he's going to want to do something on his own or run out of Beatles songs, because unless he knows every single one of the Beatles songs, and he may, but I doubt it. He probably only knows the hits. He's going to run out of songs.
Right, and if you know all the songs, you run out eventually too.
Right, so like I think that's where the strife in this movie is going to come from. And
whatever. Not surprised that he becomes famous.
So let's do this. Let's do this. The expert opinion is 70 million.
Under.
You're going under. Okay. The closest I could as far as a comparison on this, and I'll explain to you why it's not really that close, but it's still the closest I can get, are the Mamma Mia movies. And
okay.
They were, but however, Mamma Mia started out as a Broadway play, so it had a little bit of fame from that. However, the first one did 144 million, and the second one did 120 million. So with that in mind, the
problem with those movies compared to this one is they had more star power also.
That is true. Yeah, I guess.
Meryl Streep, Pierce Brosnan, and Colin Firth. That's star power.
That is star power, but I don't. Yeah, I mean, does that really drive?
There's nobody in this movie though, is what I'm saying.
But
there's literally nobody.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not saying it drives it, but it's something to put on the marquee.
No,
get people interested. You know
what I think is going to drive people the most to this movie is
the songs.
Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran is in this movie, and he is hugely popular. So
is he in the movie that much though? He's not the main star.
He's in the previews enough. I think.
Yeah, is it one of those things they put like Tina Fey in the previews of a movie? She's only in the movie for like that exact amount of time because that happens a lot.
It could be. I don't know, but he's in the previews enough that I still think it gets people. It's a star. You're right.
It's something. You're right. It's they have to have something in it.
I'm going with the over.
Okay. I'm going to say 65 million.
You're 65. Okay. I mean, I'm not going much over. In fact, I think I'm just going to go 73. I'm going to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think 70 is a pretty fair number for it. I don't think it'll be wildly popular because it's not going to have any star power. It's not getting a ton of press.
Right. However,
but
it's a week after Toy Story. It's a week before Spider-Man. So it may sit there in a good sweet spot. I don't know. It really.
That's true.
It really kind of depends. Although that, I don't know. We'll see.
It reminds me of the invention of lying, in the same kind of premise where someone thinks something different than everybody else in the world.
Right. Yes.
And it's kind of British, so I get that vibe from it also. So that appeals to me a little bit.
Yeah. I actually think the movie looks good. But all right, let's keep moving because we've got Spider-Man Far From Home.
We're making good time. We're actually doing pretty good. I think
we are. So
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
More superhero movies this year, huh?
You know the funny part about this is, and I was just talking about this today with somebody, is that like the Spider-Man trailer, if you haven't seen Endgame, it's ruined for you. Like there are spoilers inside the Spider-Man trailer.
Spoiler alert, I haven't seen Endgame, and I'm not going to watch this trailer, so.
Oh, I thought you went to see it. Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. But yes.
I will see it. I just haven't seen it yet.
Yes. Don't watch a trailer, because it's going to ruin the movie for you.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I'm not that huge. Like, you couldn't ruin Endgame for me. Like, I'm not that concerned about ruining Endgame. You know what I mean? Like.
Okay.
Sure. But whatever. I'm not going to see the trailer just because I know that now. You know what I mean? But,
right. So, anyways, so Spider-Man Far From Home, the second in the new Spider-Man reboot, the experts are saying $375 million.
Oh, under.
Okay, you're going under? My comparables on this are Spider-Man Homecoming, the first one, that made $334 million.
Right.
And Ant-Man and the Wasp. I felt like that was a pretty good.
Ooh.
Well, Ant-Man and the Wasp made $216 million.
I think this is more popular than that. I'm not going to say the problem with this is the only other comparables are like some of the more popular franchises, which are the Avengers, and I don't think Infinity War is a comp for anything anymore.
Right. No, I don't either. That's why I went with something like Ant-Man and the Wasp, just to see how that did, knowing that was kind of a not as popular franchise. Like,
do you think Spider-Man's not as popular as? I don't know.
Yes. Yes. I don't care what you say. It's not as popular as, let's call it the big three. Avengers.
What's the big?
Avengers, Iron Man, Captain America. Okay. You get into the.
Okay. So you think Spider-Man's fourth?
So I think, now you're getting into the next echelon. Because.
Okay.
And I'm not exactly sure what that, you're now into the next echelon.
Well, what's the budget for this one? What's the number? 375?
375. And I will tell you also,
so Civil War only made 408 million.
Okay.
Just
Deadpool made 363 million, which I would put Deadpool down into the next, maybe even lower than Spider-Man.
It has to be lower because it's rated R. It's a different market.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I don't necessarily think it's a different market. It's
not a family. You can't go with your family. You can't take your kids with you. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think it's different.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Hold on. I just want to check one more thing. Okay. I just want to see what Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse made. That was 190
Not
million.
nearly as much. Yeah.
No, it was 190 million. Not bad. But okay,
No,
I'm still going with the under. What is your prediction?
300.
300.
I think it's going to suffer terribly from superhero fatigue. We just had the Avengers come out. You're going to have two other superhero movies come out right before it. You know what I mean? So
I think you're now your fatigue. That excuse is thrown out the window. We're now, because this is July.
Right.
It's now been a month and a half since the Avengers.
Okay.
So,
but also X-Men comes out in between that time period.
X-Men doesn't touch us. Again, I don't like. If anything, this is going to hurt X-Men. people. Oh, I don't need to go see that. I'll save my money for Spider-Man. Yeah, I don't think.
So you think people are going to say? You think it's going to do well?
I think it's going to do well. I don't. It's the 375. I do think is high. I'm going to go with 340.
Okay, so we both think it's going to underperform. You just think not as badly as I do.
Yes, exactly. I do.
Okay,
so
I think it's going to do pretty badly. So
I don't think. I mean, I think it's. I honestly think. I think it's going to. Oh man, maybe at 340. I don't know. That would mean it would do slightly better than the first one. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm sticking with it. So let's move on.
Okay.
Let's move on to the Lion King.
Huh.
And
great. More remakes. Great.
This is the one that unlike Aladdin, I think this looks good. And unlike Aladdin, I think this is going to do great.
I think it will do better because I think The Lion King, in terms of even cartoons back in the day, was much more beloved than Aladdin turned out to be.
Now, the number, and I know what you're going to say as soon as I say this out loud,
is huge, I'm sure.
The number's 535.
Oh, man, that's a big number.
That is a big number. However, do you think Beauty and the Beast is less popular than the Lion King?
I think they're on the same echelon. I'm actually going to go the over on this.
You're going over, okay?
I'm going over. Not much over. However, the thing about The Lion King, which is very important, what is Aladdin missing in their remake?
Oh, stars.
But they're dead.
Wait, who? What now?
Robin Williams?
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's dead. He's not in the new Aladdin movie.
Right.
James Earl Jones is in the new Lion King.
I don't even think it's James Earl Jones, but he's not bringing bringing people to the movie theater as much as.
But I think it shows like the touch to the past. So like they took every care in this movie to make it just as good as the original. Right. I think that plays a part.
I would agree.
It's just the intent there. I think it looks like they did a better job with this movie. I think they took more care in making it, and yes. I think it's going to reflect that.
Right. I want to say I'm going the under.
Okay. I'm not going much over. I'm going to go 540. I think it's going to do right at that number, but I think it's going to hit it. I think it's going to get it exceeded.
Okay. You're doing 540. I'm doing 515. So I think it's going to do better than Beauty and the Beast, but I don't think it hits that 535 number. I think that's a pretty good number. The 535.
I do too. That's a huge. It'd be the biggest movie of the year probably unless Star Wars underperforms.
Well, no. I mean, Avengers.
Oh yeah, sorry, Avengers.
Yeah.
That's a funny question for later. Which movie do you think makes more all time? The next Star Wars movie or the Avengers?
The Avengers.
Okay, I'll take you on that bet.
I would love. I mean, listen, I'm not talking about who I'd like it to be, who I like better, anything like that. But I think the Avengers is clearly has it. Listen, this was a huge build up to an ending that you knew was going to be epic. I don't think you know that the last Star Wars or this Star Wars is going to be epic, especially since we know there's more coming.
I think it's going to do more than Avengers.
We'll see.
We'll revisit that next year.
Okay. All right. So the next movie we have is another original movie, or if you're talking to Bobo, the first original movie. It is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And this is the new Quentin Tarantino movie with Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. And then they're also, I'm just going to throw this out there too. They're also playing up the fact that Luke Perry this is his final movie, I believe.
Right, because he's in it somewhere. Yeah.
Yes, and
it's also Quentin Tarantino. It's got a lot of star power. It's got the Quentin Tarantino director power.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about that a little bit because I started looking at the past three Quentin Tarantino movies.
He doesn't make as much money as you think he does.
That's right. The Hateful Eight, Django Unchained, and Inglourious Bastards. But out of those three, which one do you think made the most?
Inglourious Bastards.
You were wrong.
Okay.
So, the Hateful Eight made $54 million. Django Unchained made $162 million, and Inglourious Basterds made $120 million. So
that's not a lot of money.
It's not a lot of money. Well, I mean, listen, no, we shouldn't say that. Anything over $100 million, at least domestically, is a hit.
But when you think of Quentin Tarantino, you think big time. You know what I mean? You think Brad Pitt, you think big time. Leonardo DiCaprio, big time.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised about The Hateful Eight. That it did that.
If you think about that also, yeah, that's surprising.
Yeah. So the expert prediction on this is $120 million.
Over.
Honestly, I think that's a good number. Because
I think it's a good number. I'm going to go a little over just because it's Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio.
You're going to go over? I once again am going to go under.
Okay. I'm going to go 140.
You're doing 140. I am going to do, I think it does 110.
I think people love, this is a different kind of movie than everything else coming out this summer.
Yeah.
And I think it'll hit a market that is like thirsting for a movie like this.
I hope so. Because I always root.
That's my thought.
I always root for movies like this. So, original movies that, you know, I'd like to see them do well. Last year it was Dunkirk. I really wanted to see Dunkirk do well. Like this year, I think Once Upon a Time has the best chance to actually make a dent in the, as far as an original going up against all these goddamn remakes.
I agree, and I hope it does well for the same reason. I want to see more original stories. I want to see storytelling.
Yeah. Not
just copying shit from a comic book written 20 years ago.
Right.
With a million fucking faces in it. Or just remaking The Lion King apparently shot for shot.
Sure. and again, you can go see those types of movies. They're just not going to win.
You don't have much choice.
Well, you got to wait for them to, come up on Netflix or, or Amazon or whatever streaming service you may have at this point. You're going to have to wait for them to hit there because they're out there. You just got to look for them. But anyways,
yeah.
Let's move on to Bobo's favorite. And we're going to go with Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw.
I don't care what the number is. Over. This movie will make $1 billion, Bob.
The number is 255.
Oh, over. Are you fucking kidding me?
So, although, all right, so let's talk about that for a second because
sure,
255 seems like a pretty good number. I don't know that this has the star power in it. This doesn't have Vin Diesel in it, right?
I don't think he's a star.
I think he's the star of the Fast and the Furious because I tell you what, without him, it's not great.
Don't count Too Fast, Too Furious as a movie without Vin Diesel. That's not really the same as Hobbs and Shaw where you have The Rock.
I was actually thinking, listen, The Rock's not on a good streak right now. So
that's true. He's due for a win, though, if you think of it that way.
But he's not on a good streak. Jason Statham is, he's one mistweet away from going back to Lifetime original movies. Like the only thing that he's got going for him is the Fast and Furious franchise.
The problem is, let's be honest, these movies do an inordinate amount of their money overseas.
That is true.
So, like, we're doing just U.S. box office.
Right.
For instance, the last Fast and Furious movie made $226 at the box office.
Yes,
in America, made over $1 billion overseas, though.
Right. Yes, but we don't give a shit about overseas because we're American.
We don't. But I just want to undersell how popular these movies are outside of America, because there's really no dialogue, so there's no language barrier.
Right. But I'd also like to point out, so this director also did Deadpool 2. Atomic Blonde, which you may not even know what Atomic Blonde is. And
I've seen Atomic Blonde. Are you kidding me?
And the first John Wick. Okay.
Who do you think I am? I see every movie that's anything like John Wick, I've seen it. If it's literally like, it looks kind of like John Wick, I've been there opening day.
I've actually never seen Atomic Blonde, but I'm not opposed to seeing it. I just never got a chance to see it.
Oh, it's great.
Okay, so let's talk about box office then. Because Deadpool 2 by far was the highest there. That was $318 million.
Yeah, it was also one of the best movies ever made.
No disagreement here at all. Atomic Blonde only made 51, and the first John Wick only made 43.
That's different. They're not the same as I think you got to compare the past Fast and Furious box offices since it says Fast and Furious Presents on it.
I agree. Now, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift only made 62.
Oh my God! Again with the fucking Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. That was before it became a real movie franchise.
Okay, sure. Yeah, it's a real man.
You have to start. It is since Fast 5. It's been a real movie franchise.
Since Jaws 5, it was a real. Anyways, okay, you're right. It has box office power. But anyways, you're going the over. I'm going under.
What do you think it's gonna make?
I don't think it's gonna make far under. But I'm banking on The Rock just doesn't have it in him. I'm going 225.
What's the number again? I have to hit
255.
260, Bob.
260 it is. All right. And for our final movie, and this is one where and listen, if you haven't seen any of these movies, go to or if you want to see the trailers for any of these movies, go to pwthepodcast.com and there'll be a link to every one of these movies. And the last one we have, because I highly recommend you go see the trailer, is called Good Boys. And to describe this movie, it's basically super bad for preteens. So, and it's an R-rated movie. It's raunchy. And I think it looks great. Now, it's R-rated, and the expert prediction, which I think this is pretty ambitious, is $64 million. I think
that's a lot of money. This movie does look fucking funny, though.
I'm going with the under on that one. It does. It looks really good. Now, I'll put that into whatever perspective I can, because it's kind of hard with this one. But Superbad made $121 million back in 2007.
Oh man,
this is a Seth Rogen production. And I know he's probably going to throw a lot of his weight behind it. So
yeah, but he stretched things. He just had a big movie himself come out. So how much weight can he throw when he's already pushing a movie that's in theaters right now? He's been throwing around also.
I think when it comes to comedies, like okay, let's talk about another Seth Rogen movie now. In it now, he was in this, but Neighbors did $150 million, and that's a number that I never really thought that movie hit.
My issue with Good Boys is I've heard nothing about it till you told me about it.
I think we're too far out.
Okay, so you think it's August?
Yeah,
so.
It comes out in August. I just think we're way too far out. Like, but
I want to go my heart says go over. Well, my head says 64 million is a good number.
Let me let me bring another one into it. Pineapple Express. Now you had Seth Rogen, but he was an unknown at that point. He was coming off of Freaks and Geeks and maybe 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Which he was still like a bit part in that movie.
Right. And that did $87 million. So all these numbers are over. I'm still going with the under. Boy, man, although am I still going with the under? Man. I am going with the under. I'm going 60 million.
I'm going to go over. I'm going to go 65 million.
Oh, going 65 million there, Bob, huh?
Yes, I am.
All right. Well, so if stay tuned, because at the end of the summer, Bobo and I will revisit this and update you.
I think last year we were pretty much even in terms of wins and losses. The first year we did this, when I was like thinking The Dark Tower would be the best movie ever made. That loss still stings. I took a fucking dump in the toilet the first year against you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'll have to, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm pretty confident this year, though, that I've got all these right.
Okay.
Because that's me.
That's you. Well, I
undefeated, never lost.
I don't know, but we'll definitely update the listeners here going forward with how these movies actually do.
Yes, we will. And if you want to call in and talk about them, the number is 747-BANGING.
That's 747-226-4464.
Go ahead and call in and let us know what movies you're going to see, or what movies look like total dog trash, dog shit trash, garbage, whatever the term you want to use for it. I fucked that up. God damn it. Fuck.
I would also like you to call in or text or email or comment on this week's pictures what you think we are off on. Is there a movie that you think either is not going to do well, or is going to do a lot better? Like, do you think Godzilla is going to be awesome?
Yeah, I want to hear what your thought, people's, or if they have their own predictions, we'll tweet them. We'll tweet them out. We'll talk about them on air next week. Just let us know what your predictions are. Text us, call us, email us at pwthepodcast@gmail.com. Put them on our Facebook, our Instagram. It's all PW the Podcast, and let us know, and we'll talk about them next week on air. Next week, I haven't told Travis my idea for next week's episode, but I will say it's gonna be a tie-in to movies somehow.
Okay, I like it.
A little tease. You're gonna like it, Travis.
Okay.
All right. So it's Prestige Worldwide, the podcast. You can find us on Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, wherever good podcasts are hosted, Apple Podcasts, Apple Music, whatever the fuck they're calling it these days. We're there. Like us, give us 5-star reviews. Funny ones are appreciated, but any reviews, encouraged.
Yep.
And that's all I find to have this week, man.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you next week.
See you next Thursday.